everybody, this is RJ here. This is Push Aviation. Welcome to the channel. This is Push Airlines, not Push Aviation. But if you guys don't know me, I own the channel called as Push Aviation. I've partnered with YouTube, and um, I upload a lot of proprietary videos. This channel is no different, but the only special thing about Push Airlines and Push Aviation, the difference is in Push Airlines, I'm going to be uploading air hauler 2 videos in career mode. It's really, really cool. I hope you guys continue to watch this video. If you haven't seen my previous video, do check it out. I did a type rating test. I explain a couple of things in there. As you can see, now I'm type rated with Bonanza A36, and it's really fun to fly this airplane. And the first thing we're going to do is take a look at the company reputation. Since we haven't done any cargo loads or any passenger loads or missionary loads, our reputation is set at 20%, which comes default with career mode. We also have spent a little bit of our finances because we not only paid for the test, but we are now going to buy the insurance prior to starting accepting cargo loads and things of the nature. So the investments are going to be a little high. So what we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to go to our fleet here and buy the insurance first. As you can see, we flew just a few minutes here, like around. I'm going to show you guys my logbook in a minute, but anyway, let's buy the insurance first. So the insurance to do any cargo loads for this aircraft is going to cost us $2,305 per month. So that is that's purchased. So that is going to increase this amount here quite a bit. So just in the last few days, we have, or today, or yesterday, in my previous flight and today's flight combined together, including insurance, we have spent $2,774. That includes a check ride fee, which is a type rating fee for Bonanza A36, and insurance. This is going to be the expected cost per month for just for the airport itself, the one that we're using. So that said, the other thing I want to take a look at is the personal info and flight log, and you can see 16 minutes has been logged on. This was the test flight that we did. It was a beautiful landing, and if you guys haven't seen that video, do check it out. I highly recommend you guys that video. A lot of important stuff. But anyway, so 16 minutes of flight time. We need 10 hours to get our private pilot license, so I'm working towards it. So what I will do is go to the cargo jobs and see what jobs we have available from SDS, which is Sonoma County. So it looks like we got plenty of loads here. So some cleaning products. I would be interested in this load if it was the other way around. But what I will do is I'm going to book this load because I will see if there's any loads going towards Sacramento first. So if you look at it here, CEC is not going to work. Reading is kind of close to Sacramento, but still a little bit more mileage. No, no, no. That's a little bit more closer to Sacramento. No, that's not gonna work. Not gonna work. Not gonna work. This is going to Sacramento. So this is a fairly good load here. We have 75 miles, 815 pounds, $6,000. It's a fairly good load. So what I'll do is I'll take this one, and I'm also going to take that $11,000 load of cleaning products from Sacramento back to, this is Sacramento Executive Airport, back to uh, our base. So that'll give us a first good run, and that should add up to a total. So I have two accepted loads, uh, add up to a total of approximately $17,720, exactly $17,720. So that should give us a little bit of an income, and as you can see, the amount of distance that we are wasting is absolutely minimal. So that's a pretty good load to start with. So first I'm going to fly the um, today's flight. I'm going to fly the STS to Mather, Mather Field, or it's a Mather's Air Force Base in Sacramento, California, which is only 71 nautical miles, and we're carrying 815 pounds of cargo, giving us $6,520. So let's do that. Fly now. Okay. So let's load the cargo in the aircraft. It's all loaded in one attempt. That's pretty good. And okay, and that's it. And our route of flight is going to be a straight flight simply because we're flying VFR. We can use navigational aid points or more than nav aids. We're going to use VORs and stuff like that, but unfortunately I'm not going to use it in this video. It's going to be a straight shot. I'm going to depart using a standard way you depart in a VFR flight, in a standard traffic pattern, and then I'm going to fly directly to Sacramento. So accept and fly route. And while it loads, I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to see you guys in just Hello everybody, welcome back. So we are located in parking spot number 20 in our Push Airlines parking spot in Sonoma County Airport. And this is parking spot number 20 if you guys want to know. So we're going to be flying this beautiful Bonanza 836. As you saw earlier, book the load from Sonoma County to Mathers Air Force Base, and from Sacramento Executive Airport back to Sonoma County. So I hope you guys enjoy this entire video or route. It's a fairly simple route. It's going to be really cool. It's going to give us a few hours on our belt towards, anyway, I'm working towards my private pilot license in Air Hauler 2, so it's pretty cool. We are going to be flying a direct flight. So just a little bit about the weather conditions itself. So the weather condition in Sonoma County is 140653 Zulu, wind 150 at 4 knots, visibility 10 miles, clear clouds, 1/4 is the temperature, dew point is 10, altimeter is 2976. Precipitation separator is available. If you guys want to know what it is, let me know. I'll explain it to you guys. But at Mather Air Force Base, we're expecting 140630 Zulu, wind 160 at 9 knots, visibility 10 miles, scattered clouds, and temperature is 20, dew point is 11, altimeter 2972. So the pressure is pretty much the same, but the wind direction is going to favor us to use runway 22 for arrival. So we're going to use a shorter runway in Mathers Air Force Base, so we're going to use runway 22 right. And we're going to fly, we're pretty much going to taxi to the end of the airport where the cargo buildings are, and we're going to just drop off the cargo. And then we're going to fly our way back to Sacramento Executive Airport, and I'm going to talk about all of that in just a minute. As far as the add-ons is concerned, not really using a lot of add-ons in this video, except for the fact that I'm using the default aircraft that comes with P3D, which is the Cornado Beechcraft Bonanza 836 made by Cornado, and I have the Orbex scenery installed for Sonoma County. And no other add-ons except for weather. I'm using Active Sky, and I'm also using FS flight controls for weather manipulation and things of that nature. But at this point, I'm really not using that in this specific video. But however, I am using Active Sky for P3D version 4. So that being said, guys, let's jump into the cockpit. And the pre-flight inspection has been done. The aircraft is absolutely safe for today's flight. But today's flight requires a run-up since it's a fresh start for today. So let's go ahead and power it up. So the first thing I'm making sure is that the battery is in the off position, alternator is in the off position, avionics master is off, all lights are off, circuit breaker on the left hand side wall panel and the right hand side is good, cowl flaps we can leave it open, and propeller RPM is high, and fuel we can select the tank that has the most fuel. In this case our left tank has a little bit more fuel than the right tank, so I'm going to choose the left tank. And I'm going to swap it every quarter of a tank that I use, just to avoid any imbalance that could be created by fuel. Anyway, parking brake is on, landing gear lever is in the down position, flaps are up, so that's pretty good. We're okay to start the battery at this point in time. So the battery comes on, alternator comes on, navigation light comes on, beacon comes on. You can shut clear prop at that point in time, and fuel pump can come on at this time. We can advance the mixture completely high, and now if you monitor the fuel flow gauge, I'm advancing my throttle, and you should not see at maximum throttle you should not see fuel flow any more than 13 gallons per hour, and we are at 12.5, which is barely minimum. So mixture cut off, throttle to idle, throttle open 1/4 of an inch, and let's go back here and turn off the fuel pump. Alright, so now we are okay to start the engine, so let's go ahead and start it. While you start, advance the mixture, and now you have a successful engine start. Leave the mixture at high for now. What we're gonna do is turn the avionics switch to on and get our GPSs on. Our squawk code is 1200 for today, which is pretty good. We are flying VFR, and the marker beacon is muted in this video. I'm going to reduce the throttle to 1000 RPM, which is approximately at, and now I will lean the mixture now. I'll lean the mixture so I see a drop in the RPM. There is that steady drop. So now I'm going to advance the mixture just a little bit. Our cylinder oil temperature, oil pressure is in the green. Cylinder head temperature, exhaust gas temperature coming up, but still we're in the good. And rest of the stuff is good. Fuel flow is good as well. So taxi light comes on. We're using runway 14 for departure today, and we are cleared for taxi. So parking brakes is released, and I'm gonna advance the throttle to about 1500 RPM, just so I can move this aircraft. Let's see. So what we're gonna do is, guys, 1 second. I'm gonna clear this. Okay, so we're gonna taxi on Kilo. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue the taxi now. So we're getting on Kilo at this time, and we'll go all the way to Alpha. And we're gonna take a right turn on Alpha till we reach Yankee, and then take Yankee to runway 14. We're gonna take a right here, which is Alpha. And we are gonna take Yankee, which is towards our left. It says we are on Yankee right now, but yeah. Alpha kinds of turns off to the left, so this taxiway here is Alpha and this is Yankee now. So actually let's do a quick run up here. So I'm going to point to the direction of the wind and try to kind of like stay out of everyone's way as much as possible. that's going to be good. So I'm going to hold right there. And the number one thing I'm going to do is first bring the throttle to idle. Parking brake is set. I'm going to set the heading bug to 140 degrees, which is runway heading. So that's good. And then set up a few things here. So the airspeed indicating 0, miniature plane level and erect. Altimeter is 2976. And the airport elevation is 75 feet within field elevation. Vertical speed is 0. HSI is set. Heading bug is set. Turn coordinator, the ball is at center. And suction gauge is in green. So let me take a look here real quick. Flight control test. Left aileron, right aileron, elevator up, elevator down, rudder to the right, and rudder to the left. So flight controls are free and correct. Alright, so what we'll do now is advance the throttle up to 1700 RPM. I'm going to hold my brakes and advance the throttle to 1700 RPM, or 1800, sorry. There's 1800 RPM. So now what I will do is I'll switch the ignition switch to right magnetos first and see if there is a drop in the RPM, and there's about 25 drop in the RPM. So now both. Now the RPM has gone up again. I'm going to do the left magneto. Now the RPM is going down again, which is pretty good. And both as well. Now I'm going to cycle the propeller to do that. Prop RPM comes down. Just make sure mixture is all the way rich though. So we'll cycle the RPM. Oops. Hold on, you guys. Hit the throttle by mistake. Just want to keep the oil hot in the governor, so just cycle the RPM propeller. As you can see, the RPM is coming back up. Now do it again one last time. There's a drop in the RPM, and you can actually hear it out loud in the real aircraft. And throttle goes to idle. Parking brakes is set. Alright, now we can lean the mixture. At this point I'm not really going to lean because I'm going to depart right now, so mixture we can leave it the way it is. Taxi lights are off, landing light comes on, strobe lights come on, the transponder to altitude, and the clock timer is set, the chronometer. Parking brakes is released, throttle advance. Gonna turn right here real quick. And I've got the clearance for takeoff, so I'm gonna go ahead and use runway 14 for departure today. Yeah, I turned a little too fast. It's just ridiculous how my rudder pedal responds. I don't know if I mentioned that even in my last video. But anyway, you guys, so I'm just gonna stop here for 1 second. Just want to verify a couple of things. So the airspeed is indicating 0, suction gauge is in green, propeller RPM high, mixture is rich, cowl flaps is down or open, and flaps are up. Parking brakes is released, and we are ready to go. So let's advance the throttle slowly. And try to maintain that center line as much as you can. Now we're going to do a left traffic pattern departure. So see, airspeed is alive, 60 knots. I'm going to show you guys how to do it anyways. 70 knots, 75, rotate. There we go. Just try to maintain 100 knots or pitch down till you get about 100 knots, and that'll give you a good climb. Positive rate, gear up. We're gonna maintain that pitch, and at this point, you know, we are at a comfortable spot where we can fly the autopilot. So autopilot comes on, heading on, altitude set to 7,500 feet today. And at 800 feet, actually at 700, we can start our turn to the left, 90 degrees to the left. I'm gonna go ahead, turn off the landing lights. And we're going to continue our climb. We don't have to stay in the traffic pattern altitude, but we can continue our climb. And now we're going to turn left to our downwind leg to a heading of 320. Now what we're going to do is, once we pass midfield, we are going to get back established on the 45-degree angle for 1 minute. So there we're about midfield area. So what I'll do is turn right 45 degrees to the heading of north. And it's 4 minutes and 9 seconds, so at 5 minutes and 9 seconds I'm gonna stop flying that heading. So 45 for 1 minute, I'm gonna fly a 45-degree angle out. While I continue my climb here. We're getting a little bit of left wind from the left side. Well, that's fine. Now 3,000 feet is coming up, so basically let's bring the throttle down to 25 inches of mercury and RPM to 2500. And let's start to cut down the mixture once we cross 3,000 feet, which is any minute now. Alright, so it's been a minute. It's actually a minute and 10 seconds. So I'm going to turn right to get established on my flight path. So what I will do is start my right turn direct to K M H R. Enter, activate. Now that will tell me a heading that I need to maintain, a heading of 077 degrees. So I need to turn right to a heading of 077. So 20 degrees more to the right, and that will get me straight to Mathers Air Force Base. So that's good. Now the thing is, we are about 3,500 feet. So let's start to reduce our RPM. So RPM is 2500, so that's good. So let's leave it. Once the RPM starts to drop, like right there, see how inconsistent it's becoming? So let's go ahead and reduce our RPM there and leave it at that. That's it. Lean the mixture a little bit, I mean. Not reduce the RPM, lean the mixture. So we're going to make sure that the performance is the best at every given point of time. So this heading is good. As you can see, 2500 RPM is still holding good. See, the performance is going a little weird, so that's when you reduce the mixture just a little bit and hold it right there till the RPM numbers kind of stabilize at 25. So we're going to check our mixture every 1000 feet we climb up and continue doing so till we start our descent. But anyway, so the big landmark I'm looking for is the lake that should be ahead of us. It's called Lake Beressa, and it's a pretty big lake used as a landmark for quite some time. I mean, in aviation a lot. It should be within these mountains here somewhere, so that is a big landmark. But anyway, this is Highway 128. This one right here, so that's pretty good. And this lake is also used as a waypoint, so we should always remain, this lake should be on our right hand side. So that's pretty good. Where we are right now is pretty good. And there should be one more on the right. This lake here. So usually you fly in between it, but as long as those two lakes are in sight, that should be good. This lake is on the right hand side of us, which is okay. But Lake Beressa is somewhere in these mountains here, somewhere on the other side of the mountains. Actually, I can see it right over here. So that is Lake Beressa, which is really beautiful. Anyway, 6,500 feet. RPM is still holding good. I'm going to reduce the mixture a little bit to see if there's any performance increase. That's good right there. So the mixture has been leaned about up to about 50% right now. The airspeed is a little under 100 knots. Not too happy about it, but that's fine. Let's just get that climb out of the way. As long as we're above 90 knots, we're okay. And that's Lake Beressa, and you can see it very clearly right there. "1,000 feet to go." The CHT and the EGT is good. Oil pressure is good. Oil temperature is a little high, but that's okay because we're still in the green. As you can see right here, we're still in the green. Oil pressure, we're in the green. CHT is good, EGT is good. Fuel flow is 13 gallons per hour. And the RPM is 2500 and manifold pressure is 2200. So the RPM is stable, so the rest of the stuff is all good. 200 feet to go. And Lake Berissa is right up ahead of us. This is actually a seaplane base too. There are seaplanes that land here. Pretty cool. Alright, 7,500 feet altitude. Aircraft leveling out, airspeed increasing, and I'm going to leave the RPM high the way it is for the rest of the flights. Once we cross these mountains, you guys, really we can start our descent down, just get a little bit more performance and airspeed, but really won't make much of a difference because the higher you cruise, the better it is. Number one, density of air is less, but we can descend though. 3,500 is fine, maybe even 3,500 would be actually a good number to descend to. 1,500 is going to be way too low. But anyway, once we cross this lake here, the next thing we're looking for is some of the freeways and a couple of airports as well. So the first thing we're going to look at is Highway 5, forming like a triangular shape, but that's going towards Sacramento. So we're looking for Highway 505. The next one we're looking at is kind of like I-5 and I believe it is 80. Kind of like merges. 505 is between Highway 5 and Interstate 80. So we kind of have to make sure we are not on Highway 80. If we are on Highway 80, we are way off to the south. So we're gonna make sure about that. But anyway, GPS is telling us that we are in a perfect position right now, and even visual references are setting us up in a perfect position right now, because we have to be somewhere around this islands right there. We want to keep that on our left hand side, because if we draw a straight line from Sonoma County to Mathers, this islands will be on the north of that line. So we got to be on, that island has to be on the left hand side to us. So that's pretty good. So once we see, we need about, let's say we're descending at about 500 feet per minute, and we need to descend down to an altitude of 1,200 feet. So we need to lose exactly 6,000 feet. 6,200 feet is what we need to lose. 6,300 feet. So it's going to take us 1 minute to descend 500 feet. So to descend 6,000 feet, it's going to take us 12 minutes. So 12 minutes prior to arrival is when we're going to start our descent. Right now, it's going to take us 16 minutes to arrive. So we got 4 more minutes before we start our descent down at 500 feet per minute. So pretty soon we're going to start our descent. 3 minutes to go. Since we're in the cruise right now, the engine has cooled down quite a bit. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the cowl flaps so we can get a little bit more of that airspeed. So we still got 3 minutes to go, you guys, before we descend. Alright guys, we got 2 more minutes before we start our descent. We got 36 nautical miles remaining. Alright guys, at this point we're okay to descend. So I'm gonna go ahead and set the altitude to 3,500 initially. But what I will do is make sure my descent is no greater than 500 feet per minute. Arm. There we go. And I'll let the airspeed increase, it's fine. Remember you guys, we're looking for Highway 505. It should be up ahead of us any minute. You should be able to see it. This is Highway 505 right here. So if you look at it, it's hard to see, but it should connect I-5 somewhere around there and highway and Interstate 80 right around there somewhere. So if you look at this is called the Vacaville Airport. Vacaville is, I used to fly there before, so it's Vacaville Airport right over there. So we know exactly where we are, so that's pretty good. So that is Interstate 505. 2 lanes right there. So the next landmark we're looking at is Davis Airport, which can be quite interesting as well. And the airport that you see up ahead of us is Yolo County Airport. Next is Davis. So So Davis Airport is right over here. As you can see, it's a tiny airport, really well. It's called Davis University Airport to be correct. And we want to make sure we are on the right side of this canal here. And Interstate 80 should join us, which is looks like it's this here is Interstate 80 right here. And Sacramento should be up ahead of us. And we want to make sure we are on the south side of the downtown, so the downtown Sacramento should be on our left hand side. As you can see, Interstate 80 is coming in right over here. All I'm looking for right now is downtown Sacramento. You in fact can follow this freeway here, which will guide us to Sacramento downtown, and then we can turn right a little bit till we get to Mathers Air Force Base, which is fairly easy to locate, especially given the visibility. And when we get to Mathers Air Force Base, we are doing a left traffic pattern. Actually, we can do a right traffic pattern for runway 22 right. Alright guys, so this airport up we see ahead is Sacramento Executive Airport. Sorry about that, little bit of distraction, but let me see. So Sacramento Executive Airport is right over here, so that should be Mathers Air Force Base right there. And Sacramento downtown should be to our left, which is barely represented here. Sacramento downtown is pretty big, so they don't have that little buildings like that, but anyway. And this bridge looks very different. These little bridges here, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I mean this is a very bad representation of Sacramento downtown. which is very inaccurately depicted, but there's Mathers Air Force Base, looks like to our left a little bit, so let's turn left just a little. And yes, that is Mathers Air Force Base. You can see one of the runways here, the longer ones, 22 right and 04 left. So I'm sorry, 04 right. But anyway. So what we can do is, we can come at an angle of 45 degrees, which we are at right now, to the airport. This is the bigger hangar there, so I'm gonna kind of abeam this hangar, which would kind of lead us directly to the tower, which is located on the other side of the airport right over here. So I'm gonna beam this this big hangar here and continue my descent down to 1,400 feet or 1,200 feet. And speed is a little too high, so reduce my throttle down to about 1800 RPM. That'll get my speed reduced, and I'm also going to increase my mixture to rich, and propeller RPM can stay at 2500. That angle is pretty good. The place where we're going right now. This is Highway 50 right here, and what we're gonna do is, once we go about this spot right there, we're gonna turn left to enter downwind for runway 22 right. This hangar is pretty big. I've seen this hangar many times. It's pretty big, and the altitude I am, it's actually a little too high. I should have started descending a little bit sooner. I didn't, but I should have started doing that. But anyway, I'm gonna start my turn to the left. Oops, wrong one. Let me see. 200, that's good. And I'm gonna start turning left to a heading of 040. I'm just gonna extend my downwind a little bit, where we are on our downwind leg right now, into the traffic pattern entry. So just gonna lose that extra altitude that we have. And I can bleed off some of the airspeed, so really not gonna drop my gear or anything like that at this point of time. I'm just gonna go ahead and bring the throttle down to about 1300 RPM is good, just to kill some of that airspeed there. And once we level off, we're gonna lose some more airspeed in about 300 feet, so that's good. And you want to make sure that this Highway 50 is always on your left hand side as much as you can. There's actually an airplane that's a 727 Boeing is parked right outside of the airport. I wonder if that is represented for fire department. I don't think so it is. I don't think it is. But this is Highway 50 here, guys. Anyway, let's go back in. So the airspeed is good, altitude is good, so I'm gonna go down, descend to about 800 feet and start my turn to the right to a heading of 130. Gonna get my landing lights out. Mixture is rich, RPM propeller is set. Landing gear can come down. I'm gonna start my turn to the right to a heading of 220. My altitude is still reducing for some reason, so I'm gonna... No, never mind, it controlled, but anyway. Just off a little bit to the right here. Gonna get 1 notch of flaps. I'm gonna disengage the autopilot. It's always recommended that you come in a little high, but sometimes, you know, there we go.
500.
And I want to maintain 85 knots on approach, or actually 80 knots on approach. It's a little bumpy, but altimeter is 29072. There we go. But you always want to end up high on the runway simply because it gives you a little bit more buffer. But it's too late on this approach. Made a few mistakes such as altitude and stuff, so I'm gonna try to... While you're in the traffic pattern altitude, you should be at your traffic pattern altitude. I wasn't, so... But anyway, let's go ahead and land this aircraft safely. But anyway, final flaps come in. I like to come in a little high. Like I mentioned in my previous video, I don't know if you guys saw, but coming in high helps a lot. So make sure you maintain that 80 knots.
Minimums.
I like coming in high, like just like what I did right now. Started the approach low, but came in high and nice. And there we go. Throttle to just
50,
a little bit more lesser.
40, 30.
And now you
20.
can cut the throttle. Just hold
10.
that right there.
10.
And that was a good landing right there. Says landing was okay, but that's fine. But anyway, we made it safe. We made it in one piece. Flaps can go up all the way. Gonna exit into the next taxiway here. So basically, I'll just go ahead right now, turn on the taxi lights, landing lights can come off, strobe lights can come off. In fact, you don't even need the strobe lights, especially when you're flying VFR during daytime. So propeller RPM is high. And let's go ahead and taxi to our parking. So I'm gonna take a right here. And I'm gonna take a left on Alpha. And before I do that, let me go back to this here real quick. Transponder altitude can go. We can stop the timer. And we can also open up the cowl flaps here. Alright, so I'm gonna take a left here, which is Alpha. Guys, I tried to add a photoreal scenery and it screwed up my airport scenery, so in my next video you'll actually see that I would have removed it, so it'll be nice. But anyway, so basically I'll go ahead and take a right over here, the next right coming up, and this is where UPS usually parks their aircraft. Take a right here. I'm gonna take a left here and park in one of these parking spots. Just gonna park in one of the spots right over here. I think I should park in this one. Put myself in a tough spot to turn, but that's fine. That's good. Close enough. Alright, so we have delivered the cargo. So let's set the parking brakes. Cowl flaps are open. Avionics can go off. Taxi lights can go off. Parking brake is set. Mixture cut off. We can turn the ignition to off, alternator off, and we can turn the beacon and the navigation switches to the off position. That's it, you guys. So the aircraft is in a cold and dark state now. Open up the doors and we are ready. Alright guys, I'm gonna go ahead and unload that cargo right now. Job completed, perfect. Okay, finish monitoring, and that gave us an additional 33 minutes into our logbook. So that's pretty good. So one of the loads is completed, so the only load that is remaining with us right now is Sacramento to Sonoma County, which is going to pay us $11,200, and that's going to be done in my next video. Just want to show you guys the information here. Our cargo reputation has gone up by 1%, and my cargo overall reputation went up by 0.3% or 0.33%, and our finances has gone up. As you can see, we've gained that $6,520, and you can also look at the ledger here where we have got that. And the landing fee in Mathis is $229.35, which is fine, and we've got all of that settled done. So as far as logbook is concerned, we do have 45 minutes of total time, which includes a greaser landing and an okay landing. I thought it was okay, but it's okay. The next one we're going to fly is from from MHR to SAC, which is Sacramento Executive Airport. And from Sacramento Executive Airport, we're going to pick up that cargo and fly directly to Sonoma County. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in my next one. See you guys.